All right. Hello, everyone. It's episode 4? Yeah, episode 4. I can't believe it. Fourth week in a row, man. This is crazy.
On the
Um,
grind.
yeah, on the grind, man. Let's see. Before we get into the show today, um, following the link in the show notes lets Buzzsprout know we sent you. Gets you a $20 credit if you sign up for a paid plan, and it helps support our show. I just wanted to get that out of the way. It's just a link in the description. We're an affiliate. If you want to go there, if you're interested in doing podcasting or anything like that, Buzzsprout's best, like one of the best distributors out there. It's what we use. So that link is in the description if you're interested. That's all I wanted to say about that. Anyway, um, I guess yeah, I'm Rebel. We actually got a lot of new viewers on the last week's podcast, so I gotta remember to like people who don't know us. I'm Rebel. I've just
Yep.
been gaming forever. Just a normal guy. If you wanna introduce
Yep.
yourself.
The Saucy. Also been gaming a long time. Not as long as Rebel, but yep. Just
Yeah.
anime, games,
Anime
press school life.
gaming. Yep,
Yep.
good old school life. I guess should we get into like you said before we started like we didn't really do much this week. Like
Yeah.
I don't really have anything new this week. Just some music stuff, but I mean there's always music stuff going on with me, so
Mhm.
but nothing too new. Um, yeah. We did just watch The Last of Us second episode.
Yep.
Um, I don't know if we even like when we recorded last week if we watched the first episode. I don't think we
No,
did.
we hadn't seen it.
Yeah. So I guess we could talk about that a little bit just 'cause it's a new thing and I'm sure people are interested a little bit.
Mhm.
What are your thoughts on the show so far? Like, how do you feel about it? I know we're only 2 episodes in, so it's tough to have like a
Yeah.
general idea of it, but
I mean, it's like the game has such a special place in my heart that like it's
mm,
hard for me not to love the show. I mean, well, I guess there's a lot of adaptations that have failed, but this one's probably the best like video game to movie or TV adaptation that I have seen. At the very least, I feel like you can watch it without having played the games and you'll be fine. Um, and then all the changes they're making as well, like you can be like, oh, they missed this, but they're also expanding on a lot of different things. Um, like I think the expanding that they did, like the intro of the first episode, that first 5 minutes was like really good.
mm,
Kind of sets the stage, and then the switching from spores to like the other stuff they have to do with the fungus in episode 2 and stuff. I think they're doing a good job.
yeah,
Definitely 10 out of 10 would recommend.
yeah. So far, we'll see. I mean, you never know, but it seems like
They could fumble.
they could fuck it up. But no, I agree. I think it's probably the best video game adaptation we've had so far. I mean, if you look back at them, I don't know if you have a great pool to really pick from. Like
No.
you have Resident Evil. I mean, those
Mortal
were
Kombat movies.
Mortal Kombat. Yeah, I guess. Like, I know I haven't seen the Assassin's Creed movie, but I know that that happened, and I know that it didn't do very well. So,
Mhm.
um, I think the weird thing about video game adaptations that they have failed and why they failed in the past is either they don't have a lot of source material, or if they do have a lot of source material, they almost like they just change it up too much and it's almost not connected to the games. Like the Resident Evil movies, you didn't really like it really wasn't the game. It was like these new
No.
characters and like I think that was the big mistake throughout the years was that oh, well, we have to change it because people who didn't play the game won't relate to this character, or we have to change it because of this. And I think, to be fair, The Last of Us is probably the best opportunity because it's a story driven game. Like, even though it has
Yep.
action and it is generally story. So, if the game is set up like a movie, you kind of have an easier time adapting it?
Yeah. Um, yeah, I mean, I feel like when people talk about the game, it's not about, how groundbreaking any of the controls were, or
Mechanics
like the
or,
action.
yeah,
It's the story
the
that it guides
story,
you
yeah.
on.
For sure. Yeah. So I think they got kind of lucky with that is that the story's already really good and they can just kind of toy around with it. But yeah, I think they're doing a good job in not changing too much, but changing enough to where you don't feel like you're just playing the game again. You're it's still new and different, but it's
Mhm.
in its roots of the story and everything. It's still the same. You kind of know where it's going, but there are little changes. So, no, it's a 10 out of 10 so far for me. I mean, it's beautifully shot. I mean, it seems like they're using a lot of
Oh yeah.
practical effects.
Yeah, the set
Um,
design's really nice.
yeah, it's great. I love Pedro Pascal. I think he's doing a great job. I was iffy on the Ellie just because she does look very different, and her character is a little different. She's almost more of a smartass in this show than I feel like she was in the game, from what I remember.
Mhm.
Um, but so far it's great. I hope that they keep it going. I'm excited to see what they do with the. I'm excited to see what the sets look like. I'm really excited because
Yeah.
some really cool, like the campus and the hospital. I'm just interested to see how they make it look, and if they'll do it right, if they do it well. It seems like they will. I mean,
Mhm.
it seems like the good part of it is that they have a lot of people who made the game involved in the show, which I don't know if we've had that before. I don't know,
No.
like, if the Resident Evil movies had the people who made the Resident Evil games on set. I don't think that was the case.
No.
So,
You had the company that like wanted a movie to try and get profits, but you
yeah,
didn't have anyone that worked on the story for the
right.
games, you know.
It was just the we own this, we can sell this name to a
Mhm.
studio and they'll do something with it. Which I'm glad that things are changing. I'm glad that I think this will be a big this is a big moment for a lot of people who want their games to be adapted into film or into TV shows,
Mhm.
and I think this is like a good blueprint. I think they're setting a good blueprint because it seems like it's probably gonna make a fuckload of money. It seems like it's doing great.
Yeah.
Um, so I think this is a good blueprint as well. So yeah, I think it's all around great so far. I'm real happy about it. Um, it
Well,
yeah. Go
I
ahead.
mean,
Yeah, go
or
ahead.
you finish your thought. I was gonna segue into something a little different.
Oh no, go ahead. That was pretty much it. Well, I was gonna say that I wish that Halo had more of an opportunity.
Yeah.
Because I feel like Halo has a really big universe that could be really fun, especially since it's kind of space-like. You have a, I mean, people are into space right now, especially like, I mean, Star Trek, Star Wars. Like, I feel like Halo
Mhm.
could have, it just didn't get the opportunity it needed. I don't know how well the Paramount show did. I watched a few episodes. It just felt weird. Um,
Mhm.
but I hope that Halo gets a chance at like being It just sucks because it's like if Paramount owns the IP, it's
Not getting
not
the.
gonna it's not gonna get the budget or the creative process that an HBO would give it. So, but yeah,
Mhm.
you can go ahead.
My question was just if you could have one other video game series that you've played turned into a TV show or movie, which one would you pick?
Mm,
Let's say HBO does it as well.
right. Let's say it gets like the HBO seal of
Yeah.
approval. Mm. Man, that's tough. There's a lot of good story games out there.
Because I haven't played as
Um,
many story games as I think you have.
mm.
Um,
Um, Man, that's a tough. Well, why don't you go first and I'll think about. I'm trying to go through the games that I've played.
I don't know. I think I was trying to think because I just thought of this like 20 seconds ago, and I haven't
Mm.
played a ton of story games. I think a proper TV series for Uncharted would be cool.
Yeah, yeah,
Because I mean, I saw the movie and it wasn't bad, but it wasn't exactly Uncharted. Um, I
yeah.
don't know. That's the first one that came to mind, and I haven't even really played those games. I've just seen them being played, and I played a couple, but never fully through any of them. But
Mm.
I feel like I would enjoy a good Uncharted TV show.
Yeah. I feel like that could be good. Yeah, I didn't see the movie, but it kind of seemed like a studio cash grab is what my kind of view on
Mhm.
it was. Like it's an adventure movie. Let's cast whoever's really famous right now, and
Yeah.
we'll slap
Like
some
they had a
crazy
lot of
CG.
Easter eggs from the games and stuff, and like if you play
Yeah.
the games and stuff, especially like the later ones, like you'll recognize stuff and be like, oh,
Mm.
that's cool. But
Yeah.
yeah,
But
it's
they didn't
just.
really was pretty separate.
Mhm.
Man, that's a good. I think outside of Halo, but I've always wanted a Halo. Like even since I was a kid playing Halo, I was like, this could be crazy. This could be really cool. Outside of Halo, it's tough to think of story games that really blew me away, other than like the last. I mean, really, like there aren't a lot of story mode game. Maybe I think Resident Evil could be fun if they did it
Mhm.
right. Um, Resident Evil has a lot of characters to pull from and a lot of cool. I mean, you have so much diversity in that game series. Like you have the OG Resident Evil dark puzzles, and then you kind of have the later games which are more like FPS horror games. Like with Resident Evil 7, it was like this house in the middle of Georgia, and it was weird. It was just weird. So I
Mhm.
feel like Resident Evil could get, if they got a good budget behind them, it could be fun. It could be really fun. Because there is some good story there. But other than that, I can't really think of any big story games that I've played. Fallout maybe could be a fun TV show.
Yeah.
Um, I think that could be a fun idea, maybe like a New Vegas show or something like that. I think that there's some opportunity there. But honestly, like I said, like The Last of Us was kind of a perfect choice for them. Like
Oh
if
yeah.
I'm thinking of story games that I really like couldn't stop playing and I got really invested, The Last of Us is probably number one that comes to mind right now. Maybe a Skyrim. Skyrim could be
Yeah.
fun. A lot of cool story there. I feel like there's a lot of opportunity for like spin-off shows as well with that because there's all the different factions and cool
Mhm.
stories in the factions. So Skyrim could be fun as well. But The Last of Us really is the perfect example for a game that you'd want them to adapt. So um yeah. But Halo, I'm still waiting on a good Halo, like a good
Good
Halo
Halo.
adaptation.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, it's just tough. It's weird because like anything HBO seems to touch as of late has just been gold, and like I don't know what that is. I don't know if they just have more money to offer or they're willing to put more money into things. I mean, it's hard to
Mhm.
imagine any other studio doing what HBO has been doing lately. Like, I mean, it makes me think like, what would Wednesday be like if HBO had the rights?
Yeah.
Like how cool would that show be if it wasn't through a Netflix model of being kind of like a teen show? So that's a tough one, but yeah. No, I think Last of Us was perfect. Like if there was a game I would choose that hadn't, it'd probably be Last of Us. Because I think about it, I'm like, oh, Spider-Man. I played Spider-Man a lot, but we have Spider-Man movies,
Mhm.
so like, I would like to see a darker Spider-Man movie. I think that'd be fun. I
Dark
mean, this last
superhero.
one
Yeah.
got kind of dark, but it wasn't as you know, some real dark Spider-Man would be cool. Um, but yeah. So yours was Uncharted, right?
Probably Uncharted. Yeah.
I'm trying to think of different like story games, like really rich story games. I cannot think of any.
Red Dead
Like,
was Red Dead. I didn't really play the first Red Dead. I
Red
don't
Dead
know if
would
it
be
had
a
a good
cool
story.
movie. Yeah, it had a good story. I just don't know if you can get people invested in a western. You know,
God
like
of
I feel like that's
War.
really tough to do. I don't know if God of War
Maybe.
would
But
be.
there's rumors of a God of War TV show right now, right?
I think so, yeah. But
Or
the
actually
thing with
got ordered.
God, I mean, God of War could be cool. It just depends on how they do it. That's one of those things
Mhm.
where like it seems like that would turn into a studio like candy fest of just huge CG
Yeah.
fights that don't really mean anything, and so
Mhm.
that's a scary one for me. But God of War does have a good story, or the newer ones. The old ones are just wild, like weird,
Yeah.
just weird shit, just weird stuff. But I mean, Until Dawn would be a fun show. I think.
True.
I think
Yeah.
that would be really funny. If they did it right. So there's a few out there, but really the best one would be The Last of Us. Really, be the best.
Mhm.
And I'm really happy it didn't just get thrown into like a movie format because I feel like it wouldn't have had enough time. It's a good thing about now. Like TV shows are kind of bigger than movies, so
Oh yeah.
you have a lot more time to tell a story compared to a movie that just kind of condenses it. You know. So I'm
Mhm.
happy they're doing TV shows. I'm happy that TV shows are the new like main form of consumption,
Big
aside
thing.
from the
Yeah.
Marvel and the avatars and all that, which I still haven't seen, but I'd imagine
Yeah.
you know I've heard the story isn't great. It's just a spectacle to see in theater. which makes sense. So, you know.
Yeah.
But let's see. I had speaking of TV shows, I wanted to ask you about what you think about like where AOT is going and like how you felt about this last like part of AOT
Where's
because
it going?
because I don't
Mm-hmm.
know if this is confirmed, but I've seen some interviews and stuff where they're saying they're changing the ending for the TV show.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know. Do you know what happens at the end of AOT?
I do. I don't want to
Okay.
spoil, but I do
Yeah,
know
well,
how it ends. Yeah.
I'll put a warning on screen. We're gonna talk about
I.
some spoilers here. So if you don't know the ending of AOT, I'll put a timestamp or something to where you can skip to. I'll just keep it on the screen as long as it says spoilers. Or if you're an audio, you're fucked. You're just gonna have to wait
Mm-hmm.
and hope. How do you?
I don't know.
Well, yeah,
I
yeah.
a
How do you
lot. A
feel
lot of
about it?
people had issues with the ending. I think,
Mm.
but I don't know that I necessarily like hated it. Like I
I
mean, I don't know all
didn't
that.
mind
I
it.
know how it ends. I don't know like all the specific lead up to that point, but like I
Yeah.
feel like I have enough to piece it together.
Mhm.
Um, on the one hand, I think it'd be interesting to see how they change it if they do.
Mm.
Um, and then you can look at both versions and kind of see.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, I'm trying to think of where they left off, like before this new season comes out. Like where are we
Well,
picking up at?
they left
I
off
can't remember.
right as he
Oh,
activated the
right,
rumbling.
Aaron.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. And then you get the whole like he went back in time through his memories and like crazy shit.
Mhm.
Um.
Yeah, yeah. So,
So yeah, we'll be coming back at like the last couple. Which is why I'm confused. They're splitting the season because there's not that much left in the show or in the
mhm.
in the source material. There
I
really
might
isn't.
have read this might be a different show I read about that they're forced to put it out even though they're not done or like
Oh,
necessarily
like
done. Like they're
contractual
kind of being
thing.
forced, yeah, to
Mm,
release it.
could be. Yeah.
Um, but that could be for a different show. But I don't know. I mean, there's a lot of good stuff that's supposed to be coming, so hopefully it looks well
I
done.
mean, I think it'll look. Yeah, I think it'll look fine. Arguably, the last two seasons or season haven't looked great, really, but it has its own style, kind of. I don't know if
Mhm.
the style of that animation that they're going for is going to look very amazing. I think it's just not animated that way. I just don't think that's the style. Um, I don't know. Because it's weird. I liked the second half. Cause wait, how many? Do we get two new seasons or one? We just got one, right? And they split it.
We had one season, two parts.
I liked the second part a lot
Oh
because
yeah,
you
same.
finally saw these big pieces of the story move, and you found out about him going back in time and like just crazy shit.
Mhm.
Um, the first half I didn't like at all. Not really. But I think it was more based on like I didn't want to wait for them to explain because I had not read the manga up to that point, so I
Mhm.
didn't know what the fuck happened. Like we just came back and for some reason there's this place that like we didn't know anything about anything. Like not
Nope.
really. So I think that's why I was frustrated with the first half of that season. But the second half was really good. I thought it was great. It was really interesting. I don't know how they'll change the ending. I'm worried that the new ending I won't like because I don't mind the old one.
Yeah,
So
same.
if they do, and if that might not even be correct, I might have just saw a few interviews and maybe they're changing it. I don't know. If they are
Mhm.
changing it, I'm a little worried because I didn't mind the ending. I thought it was fine.
No.
Like I don't
Yeah.
know how else they would have ended it.
Made
Felt like
sense to me
it. Yeah,
from what I
I
knew.
felt like it did.
So
Um, but yeah. When does that come out? March, right? So much shit comes out soon
March
that I don't
3rd
know
was
when.
it? Or I
Is it
think
early
yeah.
March?
It's the same day as The Last of Us. The game comes to computer, I believe,
Right.
March
Okay.
3rd.
March 3rd. Yeah. Which I don't know if I'll play that again. I might give it a shot.
Yeah.
It's because I haven't played it on a newer generation anything. I played it on the PS4,
Mhm.
so I wonder
I
how it looks.
mean, March 3rd. It'll be like right during the last few episodes of the show.
Yeah,
Perfect time to release it and get people
good time. Yeah,
invested again.
get
Yeah.
people to buy it. Um, Oh, we touched on AOT. What, do you hear the screaming?
No, my lights flickered.
Oh, okay. This kid's screaming outside. Oh, speaking of that, I realized how old I am the other day when it was like I think it was like 10 or 11 at night, and I was laying down, and it was like before I woke up or something like that, and I was laying
Mhm.
down, and these kids were playing outside, and they were being really fucking loud. I realized how old I was when I like opened the window and I was like, "Do you know what time it is?" And I was like, and I laid back down and I was like, "Yo, wait, I'm a fucking grandpa."
You're
Like,
that guy, bro.
holy
You're
I'm
shaking your
that
fists
guy.
at the kids.
I was like, "Wait, "Do you know what time it is? It's 10 o'clock." I'm like, "Bro, oh my god." It
Us
was a
working
tough
men have to be
realization,
up in the morning.
right? Like, I don't even have to be up. I was just
I know,
pissed. I
I
was just
know.
like, "Come on." But yeah, I'm an old man. I'm realizing I'm old. I'm getting old. I'm not, but I feel old. Um,
Mhm.
let's see. I have thoughts on Chainsaw Man here. Um,
Mhm.
I mean, it was good. I didn't read the manga, so I didn't have a very high expectation for it. I just knew that people liked it. Um,
Mhm.
but I thought it was good. I thought it was fun. It was a fun one.
Yeah.
I think isn't that another one where like the next season should probably be the last. I don't know how the show ends, but
Yeah.
like I know the manga's still going, but it had a pretty
It should
definitive
next
end,
season
right?
should be the end. I think. They got not quite halfway through the manga with the first season, but I
Okay.
think they could probably finish it with like another 13 episodes maybe.
Do you
But
think they
it
have enough
probably
material
did
to
so
do
well
like 13 episodes and then a movie
with
with how much they have left?
I don't think so. Like there it's tough because there is story to Chainsaw Man, but a lot of the manga is these fight scenes
Hmm.
that I just don't know if you could draw out for like you'd have to
A
do a
full.
short second season maybe
Yeah.
or just expand on stuff that wasn't in the manga
Hmm.
necessarily. I don't think they'll go the Attack on Titan route even though they aren't doing a movie, but it would be interesting to see because the animation's already so good on the show that
Yeah.
if you give
Well,
them a
we
movie,
probably have a long time till the second season, right? I mean,
I would imagine,
at
yeah.
least like 2 years, right? I mean, I feel like we probably got a while. It just ended
Hmm.
what, a couple months ago?
Yeah.
I have on here what's the favorite anime we've watched together? Like our
Favorite anime
favorite
we've watched
favorite animes
together.
we've watched together. I mean, we watched Anohana over the weekend,
Hana, yeah.
and I I don't know. I'm trying to think of the
Animes we've watched together.
like our favorite that we've watched together. Like, oh, I'm glad I watched that with him. You know what I mean? Sounds
Mm-hmm.
like that's you know what I mean.
Yeah, yeah.
Mob was pretty
Let's
fun.
see. Yeah, Mop was great.
Um,
Oh man, we've watched so many anime
we've
that
watched a
like
lot.
I
Yeah.
struggle to even think of anime sometimes.
Maybe ReZero.
Probably ReZero, yeah.
Maybe
I was gonna say
ReZero.
I think I might have watched ReZero season one before you guys, maybe,
You No, I think we
but
watched it.
we
You
watched it
you
together.
just recommended it. You said like this is a show I've been wanting to watch, and then I think we all
Okay,
watched it
yeah,
together. Yeah,
but so probably ReZero.
ReZero's pretty good. It's either ReZero or Anohana. If anyone in like who's watching this hasn't seen Anohana, go watch it. It's pretty fucking good. Like
Yeah.
I cried like a bitch watching that show. Like full crying both
Mhm.
times. It's just a good experience.
Yep.
You need to have those once in
It's
a
a good
while.
cleanse. Yep.
Yeah, yeah. You get those feelings out. I'm interested. I know Alex wanted to watch the movie, um,
Mhm.
but I don't know much about that. I'm guessing just a little bit before and a little bit after as well, probably.
Yeah, it looks like they had some extra childhood scenes with the
Hmm.
gang, and then
Right.
just sprinkle in some new stuff so you can get people to watch it. But
Yeah. Um.
it'll work.
Yeah. I mean, I'll do it if it's around. I have a weird fact here that I saw the other day. And I
Okay.
thought it was interesting. Like scientists have said that primates, right?
Mhm.
Like chimps and stuff like that, are evolution wise. have moved into the Stone Age, which I thought was interesting. So they're starting
Hmm.
to make tools with stone and wood, and like they're in the lineup. They're like in the Stone Age, or they're about to enter the Stone Age. I thought that was
They're
interesting,
getting
just
there.
because we were watching like Planet of the Apes and stuff, and I saw
Yeah.
that the other day, and I was like, that's really that's a weird thought, you know? Like
Hmm.
I don't know. At what point are we gonna have to stop treating them different? Because if they're entering the Stone Age, I mean that's what like caveman era ish.
Hmm.
How long is it gonna take for them to get to the next step?
It's a
You
good
know,
question. But it's taken them a while to get this far, right?
there's also a lot less of them. To be fair, I think there's only about two
Yeah.
hundred
Yeah.
thousand. Um, but
I
it's a
mean,
weird thought, isn't it? Like that they're
robots are gonna have rights before them, but I think
probably
they'll get
yeah
there.
yeah robots will be around before, but I don't know. It's a weird thing. I was just thinking about like man. Um, I also there's another stat. It's kind of fucked up. There aren't actually that many monkeys like in zoos. The majority of them are in testing facilities, which is a little dark.
Yeah.
But it is what it is.
Hmm.
I thought that was an interesting fact because I was looking up like how many are in the wild, how many are in zoos, and I was like, oh, there's got to be a shitload in zoos, right? But there aren't actually that many
Hmm.
in zoos. They're all in like testing facilities. But I think there are around 200,000 on Earth, which is kind of not a lot. Um,
No.
but there's also not a lot of forest left. So, you know, that's
It's
another
true.
thing though. They might become extinct before we even
We
like they might not be
just get
able
to see
to
them.
evolve.
Yeah.
This is a
Hmm.
weird thought. I know there's kind of like
Can
the
they evolve
regrowth
to start
plans,
planting
but
trees? Like
yeah, I mean, shit.
we're not
But the
doing
thing
it,
is,
so.
like, yeah, we're not. We're gonna kill them before they get to do it.
Hmm.
But no, I thought it was interesting. I saw like this orangutan with a spear, like hanging off a tree and spearing fish, and I just thought like, that's
Damn.
fucking weird. Like that's weird. It's really weird that we get to see that even. Like
Yeah.
how long did it take for them to get to that point? It has to be. I mean, I don't know how long this most recent generation of them has been around, or like this recent
Hmm.
line. Um, but I don't know. It's also weird. Like if they're ancestors, correct, of us, we're in the same like gene pool.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
like they were they before us or after us? That's the whole thing. Depends on when you think humans were around.
Yeah.
Um, I don't know. I was reading some interesting stuff about this is gonna sound it's fine now, I guess. Like okay, it's is it crazy to say that there are probably aliens now? No, not really,
No.
right?
I
Like
mean,
I feel like
you got to imagine
they're out
somewhere.
there. I mean,
Yeah.
I was looking up I don't know if you remember, I think it was called Umamu. I think I'm saying that right. It was the
The
first
name
like
sounds familiar.
interstellar object that they saw.
Oh, I
That
just heard that in the news somewhere recently, right? Or are
yeah.
you talking about it?
I think maybe I was talking about, I don't know.
Okay.
But I was reading about that and that was really interesting, I thought. And it got me thinking about aliens and like I started looking up stuff like and there's this interesting guy called Bob Lazar. I don't know if you've heard of him.
No.
Some people I mean it's one of those things like you don't really know if it's real or not, but
Hmm.
he's went on a lot of places and it sounds pretty legit. Like it sounds interesting at least, like interesting to think about. And he was basically saying that like in the 80s he was a big I forget what it was. Some kind of scientist. I don't remember what it was. But
Hmm.
the government had hired him to come work on it wasn't Area 51, it was like near Area 51 or something like that. And he was just saying that like he went in and like they briefed him and he went in and they worked on this like they had 9 crafts that they had found and he was allowed to work on one craft with one specific thing and it was like the power source. And here's the thing that was interesting to me that I thought was interesting.
Hmm.
They had this like generator or like I forget what it was called, a reactor basically, right? And they had
Yep.
to just put it on this weird. They couldn't. He said they couldn't figure out if it was metal or not. It felt like ceramic, is what he said. But they put it on here and it powers the whole thing. And they were trying. His job was like was him and another guy were trying to find out how the reactor worked. And they were saying that back then they found that it was a stable version of element 115. And like this was in the 80s. And then, recently element 115 is on the periodic table now. So I found that to be cool that like he was saying back in the 80s that like we call it this because we don't know how to make it stable and this is what powers it and blah blah blah.
Yeah.
But I just thought it was interesting. You should look it up. It's pretty fun. It's fun to think about. I don't know if I believe it, but what was the thing that it was the point of what I was doing? Oh yeah. The guy that he was working with alluded to the fact that they had found some of them on archaeological digs. And I thought that was cool. Like, if they had found spaceships from way back in the day, like just like, isn't that interesting? I feel like that's cool.
Yeah.
That like maybe they were here already and they just found them, and I don't know, because it makes you think about like it just gets me into such a. I sound like a crazy person. I sound like a conspiracy theorist, but when you start to look at like, okay, how the fuck did they build the pyramids? Like, how the fuck did they do all this shit? Because, bro, like, there's crazy like. You know how heavy those fucking stones are and how perfectly carved they are, and like, you ever seen like a corner in one of the pyramids and it's like a perfect corner? There's no fucking way they did that shit. Like, I don't know. I mean,
I don't know.
maybe they had better technology than we know, but we don't know because they burned down the library and all that shit. So we don't really know what they had. But anyway, that was a crazy tangent. I just thought it was cool. Like, and then I thought about Umamu, which was. There were some interesting facts about it, and I just didn't like. Do you think there are aliens, or like, do you think that like there's not enough evidence, or like, how do you feel about it?
I don't know. Like, I feel like you can't say they're not out there just because of how big the universe is. Like,
Yeah.
I'm in a weird middle ground where like I feel like you can't deny that they could exist, but I won't say they do until I see proof, you know.
Until you see it. Yeah.
But I
Yeah,
feel like
I don't know.
it's impossible to deny the possibility of
Right.
them, I think.
I don't know. That's always been a thing for me. Like, I think they're probably out there, but like, it's fun to see the stories at least. Like, it's
Yeah.
interesting. But I'm more interested, honestly, in the technology. Like,
Oh yeah.
if there are aliens out there, and let's say they weren't kind of hindered by our path, like the way that we've had it, which was, I mean, how many times has the human race come close to extinction? It's got to be a good amount at this point. I mean, there were times where there was a plague that wiped us down to blah 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 percent. There was the volcano in Indonesia that wiped, they said, population down to like 2%. So if you can imagine, like, what if there was another planet that had life similar to ours but wasn't hindered by our kind of, shit go of things. I'm just curious on like what the technology would look like. That's what interests me the most is the technology. Like, if aliens
Well,
come
would it be
here, we gotta
better
get
or
some
would it
fucking
be
technology.
worse if they like?
Well,
'Cause
there
we've
was
had to
that.
develop a bunch of stuff to deal with all the issues we've been having, you know.
Right.
That's what furthers like. Do
I
they have
don't
different
know.
issues and they have like crazier technology? Do they not have issues and they haven't had to develop anything? Like,
Right. Well, I know there's that thing of like I forget what it was. It was some professor, and he was saying the only aliens that will visit us are the ones that haven't imploded already. Like, as a society, because if he was saying they're never going to get to a point, like, there's no race of people or like a race of anything that can get to a point to leave if they've already imploded. Do you know what I mean? Like, if they're always at
Yeah.
war with each other, they're never going to have a chance because at some point they're going to kill each other and they won't be able to do it. Which I thought was interesting because we're kind of on that. It seems like we're on that path as a whole as of late.
Yeah.
Like, we might have been able to get more space exploration done if we weren't so focused on building nuclear weaponry.
Who was doing it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Like the space. I know there's a space race now, which is interesting. Between, I think it's U.S. and China. I don't think Russia is as involved with the space
No.
race. But that's an interesting thought. Like, but again, it's weird. It's like we're not trying to go to space because we want to see what's going on. We're going to space because we want strategic military positioning, like because we want to have
Hmm.
satellites over certain places. It's just like fuck, dude. Like, what if there was a bit more money allocated to that? You know, of like kind of figuring out what the fuck's going on. Um, I know there's the defense system that's like, uh, bless you. Um,
I tried, it didn't come.
kind of. Sorry, there's a dirty joke in there that could be made. I know there's a defense system that looks for like catastrophic asteroids. I know that exists,
Hmm.
but I don't know. It'd be interesting to see a little more. You know, what the fuck's going on out there? It's
Yeah.
weird. Like, you ever looked at the sky without light pollution? Like, it is a crazy experience. Like, not a lot of people get that anymore because you can't really
No.
find anywhere without light pollution. But if you go out like in the middle of the woods or something and you look up at the sky, like you can really see everything. It's so weird. It's such a weird thing.
Hmm.
Anyway, let's get off that topic before this shit gets like blocked for misinformation or
Conspiracy.
whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah. You have anything? You have any topics ready to go? Any interesting things?
Anything interesting? Here's the fun fact I found, I guess.
Okay.
Um, 1 in 4 couples cannot conceive naturally anymore. That number is continuing to go up, and sperm counts are down 60%. Fertility is disappearing.
One in
Is the tweet.
four?
Yeah.
Wow.
And he
Wow.
posted a bunch of other stuff about like what may be causing this, and like
Mm.
a lot of people are saying like, yeah, but like these are. It's
These are
like,
questionable
yeah,
stats. Like, yeah.
yeah, like the fact is like it is a fact. His reasons are like kind of like iffy, but like yeah, it's just
Yeah.
interesting to think.
Well, I know that was the big. I know a lot of people who are a lot smarter than me have said, hey,
Hmm.
you know, population control is not our problem. Our population's actually going to drop significantly over the next like 100, 200 years based on low sperm counts and also societal changes. Like, I know they're saying because the way society is set up right now, people are having kids a lot later or choosing just not to have kids because of the financial
Yep.
implications. And, you know, everyone's very career driven now. So it's tough to, it's tough. I mean, it's tough to have a kid. Like, if you ask me, like, would you want to have a kid right now? There's no fucking chance. Like, there's no way.
Hmm.
Not right now. But then I think that's what a lot of people say. Not right now. Not right now. Not right now. Then it's kind of like, oh, I'm 50,
Yep.
and like,
Wait.
there's no point now. Like, I may as well just not
Yeah.
have them. Um, but no, it's interesting. I mean, I've noticed it growing up. Even like, you'll notice people are a lot older when they have their first kid. You know, I mean,
Hmm.
I felt like our generation was like the last generation of some people had parents who were young. Like, my parents are younger than yours, but you'll see
Yeah.
like, you know, Alex's parents are young, my parents are young. You have a good mixture
A
of
lot of
people who
yeah.
have, yeah. Whereas I've noticed recently a lot of the younger kids, their parents are minimum like in their mid 40s, and even that is, I've seen some people who haven't had their first kid till they're like 56. You know, just
Hmm.
a lot older, which it's good and bad. I don't know how you want to look at it. Bad for the grand scheme of things, I guess, but the kids are also getting a bit more of a stable home life, right?
Yeah.
Most likely, you know, more financially stable and mentally stable, and you know. So
Hmm.
I don't know. To be fair though, I don't know if it matters because the kids nowadays are kind of fucking crazy. So maybe that's the problem. Maybe we need instability
Hmm.
to kind of have a better perspective. But oh, it is weird. I I don't know. I mean, I don't know if we'll see the results of that really. Um,
No.
I feel like we'll maybe if we have children, our kids will see that. But
Maybe.
I don't know. Well, maybe we'll see it. I don't know. I mean, we're kind of getting to an age now that like, I mean, I'm the same age my dad was when he had me. So where I'm officially on the next like generation. You know what I mean? Like we're officially
Yep.
to the next part. So I don't know. Maybe we will see it. I mean, I struggle to see how. I don't know. I get it, but at the same time, I think about countries that are so incredibly overpopulated that I struggle to
Yeah.
even wrap my head around the fact that we will run out of people or that our population will drop so low that it will be detrimental, at
Mhm.
least in my lifetime. I mean, how many people are in China? It's like 2 billion people in China, dude. There's like almost a
They
billion in
just got rid of
India. I
their
mean,
age restriction, right? Or they increased it to 2 kids or something.
um,
That was a while
I
ago,
think
but
they increased it to 2.
like
But I still think you have to go through like approval and stuff, right? Like you still have to.
probably, yeah.
I don't think you
Uh,
can just get pregnant. Like, oops.
no,
Like, I
no,
don't
no.
think
But
it doesn't really exist there.
mhm.
I'm curious though, like they have such restriction on not repop. What am I trying to say? Um, I don't know, banging. Like, do they have good methods of birth control then, or is that offered to people? Because
I
in
don't
my head, I'm
know.
like, you can't really tell people not to have kids if you don't give them a good option of birth control.
Yeah.
But I almost feel like I've heard some sinister things about that, like sterilization things and things of that
Mhm.
nature. But I think that was a bit ago now.
Yeah. I don't know
So
what current policy is.
yeah, I don't know. It's an interesting place, you know.
Mm.
I mean, it's weird because a lot of there's a lot of academic investment in China, which is
Yeah.
it's interesting. I don't know why that is that way, but it's quite a bit of academic investment there. Um, yeah, I don't know. It's an interesting place. I mean, I think it's different than a lot of people think it is. It's a very different place. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, yeah, the population dropping is just weird. It's a weird thought because I feel like when I was younger, the talk was that we're overpopulated. We're too populated. We have too
No.
many
Yeah.
people. We're gonna run out of stuff to give people. We're not gonna have enough fucking food and blah blah blah. And then now everyone's kind of like, oh wait, hold on. We won't have enough workers. We won't be able to make more food. Like
mhm.
it's a weird. I don't know. This is why it makes me think like in another 10 years they're gonna say that we're overpopulated again. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah. I bet.
but I guess society's changed quite a bit in our lifetime. Maybe more than it has in the past. It's changed quite rapidly. Um, but yeah, I don't know. Are you worried about it? Are you worried about the world in our lifetime at all? Like, you really think we're gonna see any? Like, does it make you worry at all? Like, oh shit, like this might happen within
Segue
my
to my
lifetime.
next topic.
Look at me. Look at me. So
Did
good.
you see that Russia has threatened nuclear war if it loses in Ukraine?
Um, I mean, they've threatened a new. There's a new threat. There's another one.
The guy posted saying that the loss by nuclear power in a conventional war can provoke the outbreak of a nuclear war.
Mhm.
Um, their head of
Yeah.
national security.
Mm.
Um, this was, yeah, the nuclear powers do not lose major conflicts on which their fate depends.
Yeah.
Uh,
Um. Yeah. I mean, I remember when what was it? Someone else was gonna get involved with the war. I think it was what's directly above it. Was it Warsaw? I don't remember. It was one of those countries directly above Ukraine or around that area. There's
Warsaw
another
City,
bordering.
right?
Warassaw's a city, but it's whatever that fucking. I'm
Yeah.
not that geographically,
I
in
don't
tune.
know.
But I remember they threatened to, like to bomb a different country, and I remember Putin saying a long time ago that there would be some nuclear involvement if needed. I mean, I don't know. I've heard a lot of different things from a lot of different people. Some people think that they'll reach an agreement at some point, and they'll just give Russia a bit of land, but it doesn't seem like that's the end game here. It kind of
No.
feels like you need Ukraine or it's done. And I think that's what's scary about the Russia situation is for them, I think it's a loss any other way other than them getting all of Ukraine or at least a good amount of control over it. Um,
hmm
Yeah, I don't know. It's interesting. I also don't know if Ukraine has the Ukraine has the defense for something like that. I don't think they could intercept a ballistic missile, like a
No.
nuclear missile. So it would hit, and it would be
Yeah.
a problem. So I don't know. Is that your biggest worry right now? Is this like a nuclear
Probably
warfare?
not. Probably just something with the fucking climate fucking up in like 20 years. I don't know what. I'm not too
Yeah.
worried about anything really. I
Yeah.
guess actually maybe a more deadly virus, because
Right. Well, I think that's on
that's
everyone's
probably the
mind now,
biggest.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
I think that's probably my biggest worry as well. Is like I think we just kind of saw what happened with COVID, and arguably, like I'm not. Look, some people passed away from it. I understand that, but if we're looking at straight numbers, it's not the Black Plague. Um,
mhm.
it's not killing that many people comparatively. You know what I mean? Like it could be so much more worse. I mean, if COVID had like, let's say a 95% chance of dying, I mean, we'd all be dead.
Mhm. Yeah.
90% of us would be dead. Like it spreads so fast, we're fucked if that happens.
Mhm.
Um, that is a scary thought, though, for sure. Because I think this showed us that like if something serious were to happen, we're not really safe from it. Like not
No.
the way that I thought. I mean, I think I always thought like, oh, we'd find a way to get a vaccine fast enough, and we'd be able to control it. But we
Mhm.
really kind of proved as a world as a whole that we can't really do anything about it.
No.
So yeah. I don't know. Nuclear war doesn't worry me just because I feel like I don't know. Like let's say for instance,
Mhm.
Russia's really getting fucked, and let's say even Ukraine starts to encroach on a Russian border and says we're gonna start taking Russian land. Let's say they start losing that badly. If Russia drops a nuke,
Yeah.
say they drop a nuke on Ukraine, right?
Mhm.
Is anyone else really going to get involved with that other than the allies? Like if Russia bombs Ukraine, the
Mhm.
allies will get involved and probably bomb Russia, right? You'd imagine that would be the
Yeah.
the plan. Would a China or a North Korea or some other countries that are affiliated with them even involve themselves at that point? That's my thing. Cuz like it can't become an all-out, yeah, it would be awful, there'd be a lot of death, but it wouldn't be a
Mhm.
worldwide grand nuclear war
No.
that wipes us all out.
Australia is chilling. You know.
Yeah, I mean they're fine. They don't piss anyone off, I don't think. But they're a part. Aren't they a part of the Allies? Like I would imagine they'd get involved somehow.
Maybe. But
But I don't know. Like you really think China would say like, "Oh, you bombed Russia, you fucked up"? I don't think anyone.
I don't think China would bomb Russia back. I think, or anyone really.
Yeah, well,
Maybe.
cause yeah, I mean
I don't
China
know.
would have to bomb one of the
China is
Allies, and
close with. Yeah, yeah. China
yeah,
and Russia are close besties,
yeah,
but
yeah. China,
I don't
Russia,
know.
North Korea, all those some of the biggest nuclear powers. But
Mhm.
I just don't see a world where if Russia pushes the button, anyone who's involved with Russia or as an ally with
Mhm.
Russia would get involved. I think it would be like, oh well, you fucking
Yeah,
you're on
yeah,
your
yeah.
own,
I don't
dude.
think
Like,
so.
I don't
Mhm.
think it would be. I think everyone's real worried about that, and I'm not saying that that death would be a death toll that we've never seen before. It probably would be an incredibly high death toll, um,
Mhm.
probably higher than the Japanese problem. The Japanese bombs.
Yeah.
Um, but I don't think it would be this widespread. Every fucking city gets nuked like everyone kind of thinks it will be. I feel like it needs to be more of a joint effort on the Russian side, if there was
Yeah.
going to be. That's if Russia nukes Ukraine. They could nuke
Mhm.
someone else. That's not saying.
Yeah.
I mean, if they were backed in
Depends
the
on why they
corner,
need Ukraine.
yeah.
Because you don't want
I
to nuke
mean,
land that you want.
that you want, yeah. So I almost feel like, yeah, if Russia was going to nuke, it might not be Ukraine that they would nuke. It
Mhm.
might be maybe a country that's funding them. I mean, it'd be pretty. I feel like it would make more sense to crush a country that's giving all the weapons and money to a country that you're trying to take over than it would be to nuke
Yeah.
the country you're trying to take over. So maybe at that point, then it becomes a bit sketchy. But then again, I don't think, like, let's say if in this crazy world Russia tries to bomb the United States, I don't think there's going to be a joint effort there with Russia to do that. I don't
No.
feel like there would be. I don't feel like it would be a Chinese Russian attack. It would just be Russia backed into a corner, needs to do something quick, and this is what it ended up
Mhm.
being. So I'm not too worried about that, but it could happen. I think that would be a big turning point for a lot of people in Western countries because I mean, arguably the Western countries haven't really seen war in a while. Like not really
Yeah.
seen it, not like the same way that other countries
Yeah.
have seen it in most recent years. I mean, there's no draft in the States, no draft in the UK. I mean, you know, everyone kind of stays in their little bubble and they don't really have to go anywhere or see anything. Um, but yeah, I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. Russia seems like they're losing. It seems like they're losing pretty bad.
I
So
believe they are. Yeah.
I I don't know. I know they got one big like one last push coming soon. I think it was like March or something like that that they
Mhm.
will send out most of their troops as kind of a last effort.
Yeah.
But that doesn't go well. Yeah, I don't know where that goes. I don't know what the plan is there for them.
We actually talked about Russian tanks in my class on Friday,
Oh yeah.
and why they were losing the war is because the Russian tanks, they have like on their turrets they like have it auto loaded kind of, but
Mm.
they keep their stockpile of ammunition right next to the turret on top.
Mm.
So when you're shooting at or like when you're bombing the tank,
Mm.
you're hitting their explosions,
The
which are also
ammunition.
going off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Whereas the like U.S. tanks, since like they learned about that in Iraq, they've adapted it and changed it to where they
Right.
keep it like below.
Ammunition's in a separate,
Yeah.
separate
So
housing.
like they're producing a lot of tanks, but they're a lot easier than the other
And
countries
really
too.
vulnerable. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that's kind of been the Russian. Hasn't that kind of always been the Russian war strategy of just numbers?
Yeah.
Like,
Numbers.
I mean, the death toll doesn't matter, the amount doesn't matter. We'll just shove as many fucking people and as many things as we can and hope to overwhelm them. I think that's been kind of the
Hmm.
Russian strategy for the past, I mean, since forever. Like, especially, I mean,
Yeah.
this. I don't know what you want to call the government there. Would it be? It's not technically a dictatorship, but I mean, the homies won like 7 terms, bro. Like I don't even know why they have
Hmm.
elections there. Like it doesn't.
Yeah.
Um, a very corrupt government, I guess, would be the right way to say it. It seems very old school. I know he was, a big believer in the Soviet Union, and so you'd think they'd probably keep those old school tactics when it comes to their military as well.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, I think they just play numbers and hope. But yeah, I heard another thing that they're actually they've lost so much to Ukraine. Like they've actually lost a lot of vehicles and weaponry to Ukraine
Hmm.
that like I think there were videos of Russian literally like vans just stocked full of like explosives and ammunition that they would just shoot the van and it would just explode and it just
Hmm.
because they didn't have I think they're running low on trucks and all that shit like they have
Yeah.
no way to transport anything anymore and they bombed that bridge. I forget what that bridge was called, but because Russia's kind of landlocked apparently, like they don't really have great ways to get anything around. They have to use like a train system and they don't
Hmm.
actually have a good way of doing that, which is I think one of the reasons why they wanted control of Ukraine, I believe, was because they would have more options. But yeah, it just seems like Russia's getting kind of fucked, dude. Like it's
Yeah.
tough. I mean, I don't know.
Not going their way.
It's tough. Yeah.
Which is not
I mean, I know
how I
that
thought it was gonna go at the start, but
I figured. Well, I don't think anybody thought it was going to. I don't even think maybe the Russians knew that it would be
hmm.
as hard as it is. Um, just based on kind of past conflicts that they've had there. I mean, they've always kind of won that. I mean, the fight for like Ukraine has kind of always been like ever since the Soviet Union split up, it was kind of always a problem there. So, I mean, like didn't they take Crimea in the 90s and like then they fought back and got it? I mean, there's always been
Hmm.
struggle there, but I don't think they thought it would get this. I don't think they thought it'd be this long or that it would ever be this bad for them.
Hmm. Yeah.
Anyway, shout out to anyone who's in either countries, though. Sorry if you're listening to this from like Ukraine or Russia. You're wild. You should be doing other things right now. Don't listen to us. Go do other things. But click the link, in the description at least if you're going to.
Follow that
I'm an
TikTok.
asshole, huh?
Hmm.
Isn't that weird? I remember when the war started and there were Russians on TikTok, like showing the tanks and shit. Like that was crazy. That was crazy.
Yeah.
Can you imagine like World War
It's crazy.
II?
That was like 2 years ago, right? When this started? A year and a
No.
half?
Was it?
It
No.
started while I was in a class with the professor I'm currently in, and I didn't have any.
It had to
I
have
think
been
it's
last
been,
year.
I guess a year.
It had to have been last year. Like beginning
like
of
3 months,
last year, right?
I think.
Like last March, maybe? Last May, March, around there?
Hmm.
I think it was around that time.
It was
Because
like
I was here.
the
So
war
I
had
had to have
started
been
for like
last year.
28 days
Mhm.
when I had started the class. So it was either last January or last September, or like the September 2 times ago, 2021 September.
No, there's no way. Because
But
I
it's
moved
got to be
in.
way sooner than that.
I
Yeah.
moved in February, and I was here when it started. So it had to have been like around the middle of the year last year, 2022.
February 2022. Okay.
Okay. So yeah, it was around that time. It's been
Mhm.
yeah, it's a long conflict. I mean that's
Yeah. Yeah.
it's war. We've
Mhm.
only had war in I guess Middle Eastern countries as of late, right? I mean,
Yeah.
hasn't been a lot of war within Eurasia or any of that area. Um, but yeah, I don't know. Hopefully it ends up with it doesn't it just feels weird. It feels like however this ends, it's not going to be great for Russia either way, which is
Mhm.
weird because Russia's kind of always been a superpower within my lifetime anyway. I mean, it's always been huge and they've always been a big exporter of oil and I mean, I think there was that I was telling you about it a little bit like because Russia and China are so allied, Russia goes away, China's going to have some food issues because they're the biggest importer of food. I
Yeah.
think it's like 90% of their food is imported. So it's going to be some interesting things if Russia falls. And I don't know what happens with Russia. I don't know if they try to do what they did in Ukraine, which is like reinstate a new government system or what they try there. If it really does fall to the extent that we think it will. Um, I don't know. That's a whole mess. It's going to be a mess for like another 50 years probably. I think that whole region is
Oh
just
yeah.
always going to be kind of a mess.
Mhm.
But yeah, I hope if everyone's doing okay there. I don't know. Like, that's all you can really hope for is that like
Mhm.
people stop getting killed, you know.
Yeah.
But anyway, that was a dark turn. Is there anything else? You got any topics?
um. Let's see. I don't know if have you heard about the actor from Wednesday? Um,
No.
so
Which
the guy who plays Xavier
okay.
uh, is getting canceled because he has or was sexually assaulting women and raping and stuff and getting them drunk and stuff. Um, and there's like all sorts of proof out there, like pictures of him, pictures of like people like showing that they knew him in high school when like he was doing this sort of behavior, and like
Really? Isn't
yeah,
he
so
kind of
like
how old is he? He's got to be young. Or is he one of those just he looks really young but he's like
between
27?
21 to 25, I'm guessing.
Okay, wow. So
Um,
he was doing this in like school.
I think he was doing this like after he graduated. I think he's got to be over 21. I think they said like when he was like a senior and then like 18 to 21 and stuff, he
Mm,
would like invite people over to his basement and then just like try and get the girls drunk and
super
stuff.
wasted.
Yeah.
Wow.
And then
Really?
there's pictures of him messaging underage people. and then he had a fake or like a secondary Twitter account where he would post stuff and like there's videos of him saying like racial slurs and stuff and
Oh, he's just getting
overall
the
just
full
not a
treatment.
great guy. Yeah.
Yeah. Wow.
Um
That's no, I haven't seen
so
that. So he's out of
and
the.
then it sounds like he didn't like someone might have texted him and he didn't apologize for it or something. I'm not exactly
Hmm.
sure. Um
Hmm.
So interesting to see if they go for like a recast when something like that happens. If they just completely
I
get rid of the
mean,
character, but
was he
also
really
we
that
shouldn't
big of a
even have to
story?
focus on that. He wasn't, no.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, a lot of
That's
bad
interesting.
people out
I
there.
didn't. Man. Yeah. I. No, I didn't know that. I mean, I don't know. That's a weird one. It's weird
Hmm.
when. And this is gonna sound bad, but it's weird when they do it when they're not famous. That's what surprises me the most. I get it if you're famous because it almost seems like fame creates this immunity that you think you have and that you're allowed to
Hmm.
just have power over people and you just have this weird complex. But when you hear that they were doing it prior to lots of fame, it's interesting because you're just like, oh, you've always been a fucking nightmare. It wasn't like this thing that developed. You've just always been a piece of shit. Um, but man, so getting girls drunk and raping them, those are the
Um, yeah, I have a
pedophile
message
lunatic.
here I could read. Yeah, I don't know.
Okay.
Let's see. His friend group has been known since they were like 15 of being predators and trying to manipulate girls into fucking them or giving them nudes or whatever. When he got older, he started throwing parties in his basement, planning with his friends to explicitly invite women they thought were hot so they could get them drunk and high enough to have sex with them, and lie about being high and drunk as well. Uh, he
Yikes.
would pursue, have sex, abuse. He got my friend high, who was 13 to 14 at the time.
Wow,
Last
that
time I knew they
young?
had sex, she was 16 and he was 20.
Oof.
Blah blah blah. He has rape allegations against him and would laugh at victims. Blah blah blah.
Oof. Oof.
Yeah. So
Oof.
not a good guy. And he's the one that you saw Jenna Ortega invited to the like that award
The
show with
Met
her.
Gala or whatever, or the Golden
Yeah.
Globes.
Mhm.
Right. Oof. That is that's a tough one. I don't know, you know.
Yeah.
That's tough when you got that much dirt on you, bro. Like you're
Yeah.
not. Where's the? You're not
It's a
innocent, bro.
lot of
Like you're fucked. Like
no.
what do you think? Where do you go from there? You know what I mean? Like
Mhm.
um, at least I mean, fuck. See, that's the good thing about this culture, though. See, there are moments that are good where you're like, okay,
Yeah.
yeah, he's a piece of shit.
He's a
Good. You have
terrible
proof of
person.
this. You have
Get
yeah, like
him. Yeah.
everyone is saying this. So I'm glad it worked in, and hopefully, for the greater good this time.
A good way.
Cause it,
Yeah.
yeah, because it seems like a lot of the times it's like there's a random tweet and they never met the person and they're just saying shit. I'll still never
Mhm.
forget the chilled chaos. That was the best thing I've
The
ever seen in
best.
my life.
Yeah.
Like,
Pull up the
homie got
receipts.
hotel receipts. Yeah, like fuck you. You're lying. Like that's great. I love seeing that because I think
Mhm.
it proved to some people like, hey yo, like sometimes it's not always true. Like, you can't just believe every single thing you see. You have to be careful. But
Yeah.
you know, I haven't been canceled either, so I don't know. Not yet. I got some time, but it'll happen at some point,
Mhm.
I'm sure. Um. Anyway, we're about an hour in. Is there anything else you wanna? This has been a weird episode. Went through a lot of shit.
A lot of different stuff.
Last of Us,
Um.
anime, cancellation, nuclear war. There's
Mhm.
a lot of
All the
tags to put on
boxes
this
are
one,
checked.
baby. I'm gonna have to do some bleeps though. Are we allowed to say that word? I don't know if we're allowed
I
to
don't
say that
know.
on YouTube.
Maybe
I'll
not.
have to look up the terms of service. I don't know.
If it maybe just demonetizes us, but we're not making.
Not monetized in the first place.
Yeah.
So
So.
yeah, I don't know.
Mm.
But and then you'll run into an issue like mine though, where like my old videos get fucking flagged and shit.
It's,
So
yeah.
I have to pay attention to it. But yeah.
Mm.
Anything else you got in the tank there before we close it out?
Um. Let's see. Um, Alec Baldwin's getting charged with involuntary manslaughter for when he shot that photographer on the movie set.
Oh, really? He's actually getting charged with
Yep,
it.
yep.
Hmm.
He's claiming that he never actually pulled the trigger of the gun, and is blaming the armorer and prop assistant and assistant director. But
Well,
um,
that's weird. Well, how do you feel about that? Because my thing is like, it's not his fault there were live bullets in it,
hmm
right? I mean,
yeah,
he just thought it was a prop. Like you can't charge him with that. It's not really his fault. It's different than like if you're speeding in a car and you hit someone. That's different. That's involuntary
yep,
manslaughter. Like you fucked up. You were driving too fast. You didn't see them. You hit someone. But like
hmm
if it's you think it's a prop gun, you're supposed to shoot it. Uh, I don't see how that's really on him. I feel like that would be a
yeah,
prop department issue, you know.
hmm yeah. Him
But
and
he's
the
actually he's
armorer
getting
are
charged
getting
with that.
charged with 2 counts
Yeah.
of involuntary manslaughter.
Wow. Finished. Like that's it. Charged. Or is
Uh,
there still gonna be a trial process? And
there's probably still a trial process, but
yeah, I just don't know if that's his fault. As awful as that is, um, I don't think you can really blame him for that. You know, unless he wasn't supposed to pull the trigger and like
yeah, I
it was
can't
supposed
remember
to be
exactly
CG and like something like that. But
what, like, but yeah,
the argument that he didn't pull the trigger is wild, though.
it's
Like,
wild.
I
Yeah, I
mean,
think you need to come
you
clean
can
before
think of some
trial.
better things there. I mean, come on, like
hmm
it just went off in my hand. It's like an old school revolver too, right? Like it's not going to. It's obviously he
Yeah.
could accidentally shoot that. Oh man. Well, I mean, I don't know. You think he should get charged with it? You think like he should take some of the blame for that?
Cause I can't remember exactly what happened. I almost think there wasn't a reason for him to be pointing it at
Oh,
the
maybe.
camera at the
If that's
time,
the
but
case, that's bad.
this was like 2021, so I can't exactly remember
Yeah. Yeah, it could have been. I
what
could
it
be
all was.
wrong, by the way. I could be wrong. I'm not.
Um,
This, from my knowledge, I thought he was supposed to shoot it as a part of the scene.
uh,
It was loaded
yeah.
with a live bullet. It killed someone. That's what I, from
hmm
my understanding, that's what it was. But there could be more to it that I don't know.
Uh, it's tough
Even if
because
he wasn't pointing,
you gotta
even if
put
he
more
wasn't supposed
blame
to,
on the
the person who
person who
loaded the
gave him the
gun.
gun, the armor.
Yeah.
Can you completely get rid of blame from him? I don't know.
Well, that's the thing is like, even if he wasn't supposed to point it at them, blah blah blah.
Yeah.
There should not be a live round in that gun, regardless.
No.
So like,
hmm
is it really his fault? Like, if I mean, do you think it's his fault if he shoots and I mean, it's not like he was
Yeah.
aware that there was. It's a tough one, you know.
It's yeah, because you still get charged even if
Well, I mean, he is directly
you
responsible,
accidentally
but like, it's
kill
not
someone. Yeah.
his fault.
But
Like,
hmm
yeah, I don't know. That's interesting though. I don't know. I wonder how much jail time do you get for 2 involuntary manslaughters?
but you got to imagine he's probably ruined reputation with a lot of the other people that he's blaming. Like, is the
Oh
movie
yeah.
done
Oh,
filming,
people will
or
fuck
like
him
is it
over.
just scrapped? Like
I don't know. I thought they were reshooting already. Like I thought they started filming again recently, like in
with
the
him?
last 6 months. I don't know about with him, but I know
Mhm.
that they've continued the process on the movie.
Oh yeah, yeah.
So I don't know, but yeah, I mean, if he's trying not to get people to fuck him over, pointing the finger at
hmm
everyone else is probably not the best way. But,
Yeah.
I don't know. That's real tough. I'm trying to put myself in those shoes of like, again, I don't know. Maybe he was pointing it at them. He wasn't even supposed to shoot it. I don't know. Um, but from my knowledge, it was a part of the scene. It just went wrong. He was supposed to shoot a blank at the camera,
hmm
was from what I remember, and that it went off. And I was gonna make a bad joke. I can't do that. It went off, and some
hmm
people died, unfortunately. Um, but I'm trying to put myself in those shoes. Like, if I know if it's supposed to be a blank, I'm supposed to fire it at the camera, and then 2 people drop dead in front of me. Like, and I didn't have the knowledge. I don't know. It's a tough one. I think I'd be fighting real hard to not get time for that because I wasn't
Hmm.
aware. But then again, yeah, I don't know. Maybe he wasn't supposed to point it there. Maybe he wasn't supposed to shoot. Maybe it was a joke or something, like bang, and then he fucking shot them. I hope that wasn't the case, but
Yeah.
it could be a lot worse than it is. You'd imagine if he was charged with it, there's probably more that we don't know. But,
Hmm.
but yeah, the stuff. I mean, hasn't that always been a bit of a problem with movies that if it's not the first time someone's been shot with a gun that they thought was a blank and it wasn't a blank. Like I
Yeah.
forget what other movie was it? The Crow. I think it was The Crow. The main actor got shot. He died because they thought it was a blank and it wasn't a blank, and that was it. So
Hmm.
how about we just CG? How about we just CG the bullets? At this point, I mean, for
We're at the
fuck's sake,
point where
and we don't need the real bullets anymore. I mean, or the blanks. Like you just have the gun empty and click. It doesn't need to be loaded with a blank. I mean, just fucking CG the muzzle flare, bro. Like it ain't that deep. Like
hmm
I don't know. Just avoid that. And I'm sure bigger movies that have a lot more action probably do, but I don't know. Did you want to talk about the playoffs at all? Any predictions or anything like that? Kind of what's been
yeah,
going
yeah.
on. So, for people who are watching, if you're interested in the NFL, if you're not, sorry, we are.
Hmm.
Um, the Bengals beat the Bills today, and San Francisco beat Dallas today.
Yep.
So, just kind of as a timeline of when we recorded this. Um, who do you think's got it in the bag this year? I mean, what are your
Who I
predictions?
think's making it through?
Yeah.
Um, it's gonna be the. I think I'm gonna pick the two opposite teams that I have in my bracket when the playoffs started.
Mm.
I think Cincinnati's gonna beat the Chiefs next week, actually.
Okay. Uh-huh.
And I think the Eagles are gonna beat San Francisco. Which
Yeah.
is I chose San Francisco and the Chiefs in my Super Bowl when I made my
Mm.
bracket at the start of the playoffs.
Yeah.
But just recency has me leaning towards the Bengals and the Eagles. Um,
Yeah.
not now. Who do I want to win? San Francisco, Cincinnati. I think
Really?
actually.
Okay. I
I
would
think I
love
want
to see
Cincinnati to win.
a Chiefs Eagles Super Bowl. I think that would be really fun to watch
Yeah. Well, the
because those
Chiefs are always
teams.
the funnest team to watch, so it's hard to not want them to win.
Yeah.
Um,
I think that it'll be a close game, regardless of who
I'm
wins
hoping.
between Chiefs
Yeah.
and Bengals. It's always really close, and they're always both really good when they play each other.
Hmm.
I didn't watch the Bengals game, so I don't know what their defense is looking like. I'm guessing it was an offense-heavy game because that's just the Bengals. I
Yeah,
mean,
the Bills couldn't do much on offense.
see, that's the thing.
They
Are
were
the Bills that
struggling, but
good?
are they that
Like,
good?
that's the thing.
Technically, I think going into that game, because the Week 17 matchup didn't happen, the
Right.
Bengals won a 9-game win streak. The Bills won an 8-game win streak. Um,
Yeah. Just keep going.
but
There's an audio.
I just, yeah, I didn't believe in the Bills looking good enough recently because they almost lost to a third-string quarterback in the Miami game. So like, I
Yep.
didn't have faith in what they had shown us recently. Maybe if like Von Miller was healthy and stuff,
Yeah.
but they were more so struggling on offense. Um, I know Diggs is pretty frustrated. Like he tried to leave as soon as the game was over.
Mm.
So I wonder what their
Well, he wasn't
receiver
getting a
core is
lot
going to
of.
look like next year. Yeah, he wasn't getting a lot of targets,
Really,
and
so. Yeah.
Josh Allen looked pretty bad that last bit of the year, that last stretch.
Yeah.
Not bad, just not as good as
Not.
he can be.
Yeah. Right.
Um,
Yeah.
so I don't know. It'll be interesting to see Cincinnati's defense, but there's so much that Kansas City's offense has that like, how do you game plan against that? And I
I don't
mean, they
know.
did it. They beat them last year. They did it,
They
but
did. It was a very close one, though. To be
it
fair,
was
it was
yeah.
super
Can
fucking
you
close last second.
can you do it again? Depends on if
Yeah.
Mahomes' ankle is healed or not.
That's my biggest worry about that game is that if Mahomes can't be as mobile,
Hmm.
whatever fucking, if he can't move
Yeah.
around like he can, it's a problem. It's a big problem. But they're kind of lucky, whereas this year they do have good running backs. And
Yep.
they just have so many tools on offense that like even if Mahomes is injured, I don't know. As long as he's playing, I think there's still a pretty good chance that they'll do okay. But
Hmm.
I don't know. I think it'll be a close one. I think it'll be really close, and I'm definitely worried as a Chiefs fan. I'm like, uh-oh, this is scary. But
Hmm.
I think it'll be close. Whoever ends up winning, I think it'll be a really close game. As for the Eagles, I don't know because I feel like
It's
San
tough.
Francisco should beat the Eagles. The way that I see defense, like San Francisco's defense is good. San Francisco's offense is pretty solid. I don't know if the Eagles can do it. I mean, on paper they probably will, but
Yeah.
in my heart, it's saying San Francisco might beat the Eagles. But
I could see it going both ways. The Eagles'
I think
offense
that'll be
looks
another
really
close
good right
one.
now, and like
Eagles
I know
defense
San
looks pretty good
Francisco's
too.
defense is really good. Um, it's just tough because Dallas's offense looked pretty bad today, or was
Right.
it just like how good the San
The
Francisco
defense is.
defense was? Like,
Yeah.
so I think you got two teams with a really good offense and defense, and so it could go either
Yeah.
way. I'm kind of leaning Eagles,
Mm.
um, but I would love for San Francisco to make it.
I would love a Chiefs Eagles Super Bowl. That's what I'm really aiming for here. That's what I would
Yeah.
like to see. Um, I wouldn't mind. I think if there was a team that would get through, let's say Chiefs lose and Bengals get in, I
Hmm.
would probably root for the Eagles. So I kind of want the
Yep.
Eagles to win because I
Hmm.
know that's a team I might actually be able to be like, okay, I want the Eagles to win this.
Yeah.
Um, I don't really want the
See,
Bengals to win. I don't know
I'm a
why I
bad
don't want them
guy
to.
because I have nothing against the Eagles. I just know
Yeah,
so many people I follow love the Eagles,
like the
and like I
Eagles.
just want to
Yeah,
see
you'd love
people
to see them
sad that
sad.
their team lost. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it's like I don't mind
Um,
Dallas, but I want them to lose because I know a lot of people who like Dallas,
hmm.
including Alex.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
want to see them heartbroken for some reason. Um, yeah, I don't know. To be fair though, like
Eagles would probably be a better match.
it would be funner to watch. Yeah, I think San
Yeah.
Francisco would
Eagles
be probably
Chiefs.
kind of boring, but
Hmm.
um, I don't know. Like it's tough. One of these days, like it's just that kind of league right now where like Allen's gonna get to the Super Bowl one of these days. And he's probably gonna win. Burrow's gonna
Hmm.
get to the Super Bowl again and probably win. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like these are guys you're gonna see for the next couple years in the league that they're always gonna be close, you know.
Hmm.
But I don't know. We'll see. Is it Burrow's year? Yeah,
It's
never
looking
know,
good
man.
recently. His opening drive, he was 4 for 4, 65 yards. His second drive was like 8 for 9. Like
I mean, they
their
could
offense is looking
definitely.
really good right now.
I think if they get to the Super Bowl this year, they might be able to win. I think their chances were not great last year,
Hmm.
based on just they just didn't look as strong team wise. They fucking
Yeah.
get sacked all the time. It seems like they've worked on their O line this year, towards the latter
Yeah,
half of the season. So
they put a lot into their O line in the off season.
yeah,
Um, they had the same 15 guys or the same 5 guys for the first 15 games of the season,
mm.
and then they've lost one guy each of the last 3 weeks. So they have a fresh O
Ooh,
line for the playoffs, pretty much, like 3 new
yeah,
guys. And they still, I mean, they worked pretty well against the Bills today. I don't remember seeing Burrow get sacked more than once,
yeah.
but it wasn't
'Cause he was getting
super
sacked a lot
focused.
beginning of the season. He
Yeah,
was
he is the most.
not going great.
He's definitely the most sacked quarterback in the league this
Like
year or
last week
last
or
year.
something.
But yeah.
I think someone else took his place, but I don't know who.
But yeah, this year I don't know. They have you're seeing more of almost T Higgins as like the number one receiver than
Mm,
Jamar Chase.
Chase, yeah.
I think like Chiefs have a lot of weapons, and I think their tight ends probably like that puts them over the top. But I
Mm,
think the core trio of receivers for the Bengals might be a bit better.
might be, yeah. Chiefs
Yeah.
have a lot of like solid guys, but not like
Mhm.
Kelsey's their main like. Okay, this is the guy who's probably gonna do it for him. They don't
Yeah.
really have a Tyreek Hill anymore. They don't have I forget who the other guy was the year they won. Hmm, I don't remember, but yeah, I don't know. Tyreek Hill was a big loss for them. I'm
Mhm.
surprised they're doing as well as they are. It seems like they're making some good moves. I don't know. We'll see. We'll just have to see if Mahomes. If
Mhm.
Mahomes is healthy, we got a fun game. If Mahomes isn't
Yeah.
healthy, can start being a little scared. I still think either way he'll be on the field. I don't. I mean,
Mhm.
I don't think he won't be playing. I just think that he might be a little more stationary, which is a bit of a problem. So I don't know. We'll see. I don't know when we'll record the next episode. Probably before the playoff games, but I don't even
Yep.
know where I'll be. So, but so it could be after. It might be after.
Mhm.
The both games are on Sunday, right?
Yes.
Okay.
The Chiefs game is the second game.
Okay. Cool. Well, anything else you want to talk about before we
I
hit the
think
stop
there's
button
only
here?
one thing left to talk about. That's the biggest news of the week.
What would that be?
Scump's retirement.
Oh yeah, that did happen this week. Ah, it's
Yep.
weird. I thought that was the week before. No, yeah, I guess that is this week. Yeah, Scump's gone. That's it. He's out.
Mhm.
Um, I'm interested to see how the CDL will do viewership wise.
Yeah.
Maybe as long as he's co-streaming, I think they'll do fine.
They're seeming to get more views with his co-stream, like overall.
Yeah.
Um, and he's still gonna be going to the majors and stuff. So,
Well,
but long term, I don't know.
you don't really have any big players anymore, man. Like not like the superstar like famous players anymore. I mean, you got Clay.
Mhm.
That's like the
Yep.
last of the old guard kind of. We Slasher.
Yeah. That
Slasher's been playing a while.
OG Optic roster is all retired now.
They're all gone. It's a weird. Yeah, it's weird. I it's a weird feeling. I don't know. I mean, that's kind of just how it goes, right?
Mhm.
It's weird when the esports so young that like you don't have that a lot. You know, like we don't have big refreshes in players a lot in COD. It's kind of the same. It's been the same group of
Yeah.
guys forever, but now you're
Mhm.
starting to see some new faces in there. I don't know. I just hope the young guys take the opportunity, really take the. We need more. We need more big people in the scene who do content, and I don't know. It's tough now the way the league is, where it doesn't seem like a lot of people have the time to do it. But
Mhm.
um, we need more scumps. Need more formals. Need more crim
We
sixes. We
do.
need more of
Yep.
those. So I hope that some of the players in the league start to look at this as like an opportunity of okay, well we don't have this big dude in the league anymore who's gonna keep taking all the viewers. Like, I mean, they're not gonna go to Scump stream to watch scrims anymore. So you got
Yeah.
you got a good opportunity to kind of seize the market that is gonna be a little flat now that Scump is out of the scene. So hope they just
Yeah.
take that as an opportunity. But sad to see him go. He arguably wasn't the funnest player to watch over the past 2 or 3 years, but like IW and BO3, those were some fun years to watch him play. So yeah, I'm sure he'll do content. He's not gonna go away, but um, it is weird to see. It's weird to see all the people go. I don't know. Like the players I played against growing up aren't, and I was never like close to pro, but like you'd get a
Yeah.
GB and you'd play Karma or you'd play Scump and like you're like, oh shit, like I don't remember what his name was in Modern Warfare 3. I played him in Modern Warfare 3. He had a weird name. He had a really weird name. Um, but yeah, it's they're gone, man. That's it. Everyone's gone.
Yeah.
Uh, yeah, I don't know. How do you feel? I mean, you've only watched since like BO3, so it probably doesn't like
Yeah.
feel too weird for you.
I
But
mean, yeah. It
but
doesn't.
you were like an Optic
I
fan,
wasn't
right?
a.
So
Yeah. I was a Karma fan and an
mm,
Optic fan. So a
yeah.
lot of like any COD content I did see, Scump was usually a part of it.
Mm,
Outside of just like the league itself.
yeah.
Um, it's interesting. I mean, his his streams seem to be doing well.
Mm,
And I've been in there a bit, and he had Karma on there today, and so like I like the way he's going with things now. But
yeah.
I don't know, seeing an
Well, he's a
Optic roster without him is weird.
smart guy. He's a smart dude
Hmm.
when it comes to content. Like I think he'll take advantage of
Oh
this
yeah, he
and
was
really,
talking about all the different things he has planned, and like
yeah. I mean, can you imagine how
Sounds
well
like
like
he's
a
prepared.
Dynasty podcast would do?
Mhm.
I mean, like him, Formal, Karma, Krim. I know they don't really talk to each other, but like that could be a crazy. I mean, there's so many good ideas there that can happen now that he's
Mhm.
retired. Like, I think we'll enjoy it more than him playing, to be honest.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I don't know. I don't know if I'll still even like support Optic as a team anymore. Like, there aren't really any. I don't know. Like I don't know
Yeah.
if I'll feel as much rooting for that team now that everyone's kind of gone. Everyone I watched like is kind of gone. So I don't know. Maybe I'll be a Paris fan or something. I don't know.
Yep.
But yeah. Anything else? Is that it? Man, we got so
That's
many
all I
things to
got.
put in the scump nail. Wow. In the thumbnail, bro. We got scump. We got the playoffs. We got fucking Last of Us. I'm gonna pack this thumbnail, bro.
Yeah,
Someone's
yeah.
clicking. Someone's fucking clicking on this shit.
Little
But
nuke logo top right.
oh yeah, a little tactical nuke logo. Um, yeah, I guess that's it. Guess we'll call it there. Thank you anybody who stuck this far. The last podcast did really well, so thanks anybody who's coming back for that. Um, yeah, we'll try to be here next week at the same time. It's been a bit. It's been almost a month now, so we're going. Um, yeah, that's it. Anything? Follow us on Twitter, on Instagram, and stuff. Links
Yep.
will be in the description. Let's get those, get those followers up. We do have a
Are we on
Patreon, by
Instagram?
the way. We are on Instagram. We're on
Okay.
Instagram and Twitter and TikTok and
I know on TikTok
all that
and
stuff.
Twitter. I haven't searched this up on Instagram yet.
Yeah, no, yeah, we got an Insta, so we're on
Nice.
all those things. Give it a follow. And yeah, we do have a Patreon. I haven't put anything on there yet, but if you do want to go to the Patreon, I mean, if we get, I don't know what they're called, patrons. If we get patrons, I'll
Mhm.
put exclusive content on there and stuff. We can do some fun things there. So if you are interested, you can go there, give it a shot. I think it's at like $3 or something. Um, but yeah, I think that's it. We'll catch you next week. Put your playoff, like if you do watch the NFL, put your fucking who you think's gonna win the Super Bowl in the
Yeah.
description. I'd like to see some of those. We'll see if anyone's right. But
Mhm.
yeah. Well, actually, before we go, we didn't even answer who we think is gonna win the Super Bowl. We just said who we think's gonna get there. We didn't say who's gonna win.
Yeah.
Who do you think's gonna win?
Who did I think? I thought the Eagles and Cincinnati's gonna get there. I'm gonna give it to. Man, this is tough.
It's a tough year. It's
'Cause
a
I
tough
think
bracket.
Cincinnati and Eagles are gonna make it.
Yeah. I mean, I can give you mine if you want to think about it.
I think the Eagles are gonna win it.
Yeah. I was gonna say if the Chiefs aren't there, and I don't want like if the Chiefs are out, I think the Eagles will win. If
Mhm.
the Chiefs are there, I want them to win, so I'm just not gonna say it. But like, if the Chiefs don't make it, I think the Eagles have a good shot at winning this year. I think they got a good,
Mhm.
all-around solid roster as long as they stay healthy. I don't know what's gonna happen over the
Yep.
next weeks, but as long as everyone stays healthy, I think they got a good chance. But yeah, put your predictions in the description. I'd like to see some of those. If anyone watches NFL, I know our viewers. Not a lot of our viewers are American actually, so I don't know how many of y'all watch that, but yeah, that's it. Goodbye. Thanks for watching. Goodbye.
Peace.